Wow, Jacey, in the 16th century, the idea of witches were common among the people in Europe. Europeans believed that most witches were old, ugly, widowed women who lived alone in a village.
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
Dang, some of these witches sound really, really ugly and gross too. The increase of witch hunts was due to the social instability, misogyny, and famine. But it seems the trials started to decline when...
Oh, look, over here. It says that the trials... Oh, the deterioration was largely due to the influence of the Enlightenment and the scientific revolution. People started thinking more about empiricism and scientific innovation. Oh, and look, society was beginning to stabilize. That probably also contributed to the loss of hysteria that generally spurred the witch trials. Kevin's calling. I better go. It's good to see you.
You too. See you, Jacey.
Bye. Have a good night.
You too.
What? Where am I? What's going on? What? What is this?
Who are you?
Who are you?
You mean you don't know me?
Should I? Who are you?
I'm pretty well known around these parts. I'm a witch.
I'm not from here.
I'm a witch.
Witch?
Well, accused
What
of
do you
being
mean,
a witch.
witch?
There's a significant difference. Where are you from?
I'm from Linwood.
Is that in France?
No, it's in Washington.
I think you'd better come with me. Come on, I'll take you somewhere safe, and then we'll figure out where Washington is. Come on over here. I'll explain some things to you. You're trying to skid us, aren't you? I don't know what's going on. Where are you from?
I'm from Linwood.
Like I said. Let's try this again. We're in England.
Linwood isn't in England.
Well, last time I checked, we are in England.
What's going on? I'm really confused. You said you were a witch? You're from England?
Well, allegedly. I mean, obviously nobody has any proof of that, but who needs proof these days?
Why are you being accused of being a witch?
Well, partially because I don't blindly succumb to my own place in society. I know what the word misogyny means, and I also know how to read, and I actually enjoy it rather than using it as a tool to gain my husband's goodwill. You look awfully confused. You don't remember a couple years ago when everything was going terribly, the economy was in turmoil, there was warfare all around, famine, disease, you name it. The population was ravaged, and, I mean, to make it all worse, the religious conflicts just made everyone distrustful of each other.
So everybody decided to blame the underdog, and you must know who the scapegoat always is in these kinds of situations. You got it. So everyone decided that women, with their weakness and susceptibility to devilish temptations, must be consorting with hell. And we must be using black magic and sorcery, because otherwise how could these terrible misfortunes be happening to such virtuous men? The usual nonsense. Anyway, so that was when the witch trials first started. It was nightmarish.
Witch trials? Like, as in witch hunts?
Essentially. Anyone that was in the area, like, you just had to be in the vicinity when a misfortune occurred, and you were immediately blackballed as a witch and prosecuted. Anyone that doesn't adhere to societal convention is definitely in danger. I mean, personally, I like to read. My village didn't see me any longer as the girl who'd grown up there since her childhood. No, I was a demon. So I had to leave, obviously. I did myself a souvenir for the irony and left. Because you know what they do nowadays?
What?
They'll tie you up, fetter you in chains, and throw you into the bottom of a lake. If you can escape that sort of thing, you're said to be a witch. If you can't, well, you know, you're not a witch, but the downside is you're still at the bottom of a lake and tangled in chains.
It's too late for you. You're screwed.
Yeah, see? You're getting it.
That sounds familiar, though, like these witch hunts and these witch trials.
I knew it had to be amnesia.
No, it's like I've read about it before.
Interesting. I like you.
Well, from what I've read, you witches were being accused. Well, witches were accused. And then they would capture you, and then they would require a confession saying that you're a witch. And then you'd be tortured, and you wouldn't be fed. And then the pain was so much that you women would just confess that you were a witch, even though you weren't.
And then everyone thought you'd been lying, and that just contributed to the hysteria. Witch hunts are, well, they're at their apex now. I don't know what we're going to do besides stay hidden. Wait, did you hear that?
Hear what?
Let me check something.
Kill them! Kill them all!
Hey.
Hey. Did you see them?
Yeah,
Were they close?
they're pretty close.
It's more worrisome every day. We managed to evade them for a few weeks, too. Hey, tell me if I'm crazy. Because, I mean, if the mobs have anything to say about it, I am. But is it just me, or have we been seeing them less frequently? It feels like their, hateful excursions are becoming a bit more and more sporadic every time we see them.
That's what I think. I haven't seen them as much around these parts anymore.
It's a strange feeling, isn't it? Being able to go outside, fetch water or something without worrying about having a flaming torch driven through your back. Why do you think this is? I mean, are they trying to lull us into a false sense of security?
That is a possibility.
If they could think something up. So far they seem to have been overly fond of pitchforks, but hey, everyone's capable of improvement. Hey, speaking of which, my supplier for books in the nearby village, he got me a very, very interesting philosophic journal the other day. It was detailing revolutionary ideas about human potential and their capacity for improvement. He was telling me about something going on right now. It's centered in France, but it's affecting most of Europe, including here in England, called the Enlightenment. Everyone's reevaluating their opinions on the universe and trying to be all rational and logical. I don't know if it's real, but if it is, this could mean big things for us. I mean, if people are trying to base their opinions on the universe on quantifiable evidence, that means that witchcraft can't exist. It's just useless superstition, which we've known all along, of course. But this could be amazing. The implications are enormous.
I also heard about another revolution. It's called the
Another one?
scientific revolution. Have you heard about it?
No, but it sounds promising.
So, ever since the scientific revolution has started, everyone has been thinking more rational. They've been coming up with new ideas and theories, and all these philosophers have all these great new ideas, and everyone's just
following it and then remarkable. They're just forgetting about us because we're just superstitions. With everyone trying to fulfill their potential, do you think that would mean tolerating the lower levels of society? Like women? Possible. This is all very disconcerting, but I'm trying to be optimistic, but I don't want to get my hopes up, you know. I agree with you. Guess we'll find out. Good night. Good night.
Hey, Roseanne, have you heard?
What?
Oh my gosh, it's incredible! You remember what we talked about last week? The scientific revolution and the Enlightenment?
Yes?
Well, I talked to a person from town today, and he says that they're going to outlaw witch trials. He says that witch trials, they're declining everywhere. They're deteriorating. It happened more slowly here because, obviously we're in the middle of nowhere. But we're not going to be persecuted. We can move back into the village.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I know. Scientific revolution and enlightenment. Oh my gosh, who would have thought? This is incredible. Now go back to sleep as a non-persecuted woman. Hallelujah.
Now I can sleep in peace. Whoa. 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 What just happened? Was that all just a dream? It all seems so real. So that was the deal with witch hunts. Social instability and famine first popularized the witch hunts, which were further spurred by prevailing misogyny. And then after several years of frenzy and chaos, witch hunts started to decline once the Enlightenment began and it started to rationalize people. It also elevated the idea of empiricism over superstition. But, it's kind of weird that all the ideas that came from witches and how people started to eradicate witchcraft, it still exists today. Like, old women still live alone, they have facial hair, they're mean, and they're associated with cats. I don't have a cat.
My witchcraft brings all the mobs to the woods, and they're like, we're gonna prosecute you. And I'm like, I'm too dark for you, so many hexes. How will I choose? My witchcraft brings all the mobs to the woods, and they're like, we're gonna prosecute you. And I'm like, I'm too dark for you, so many hexes. How will I choose? I feel them coming, the sound that it makes me remember what I chose black magic for. They lose their minds, the way I cast. Innocence is past. La 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 la. Demons come. La 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 la. The mobs are waiting. La 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 la. I cast away. La 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 la. Their death is waiting. My witchcraft brings all the mobs to the woods, and they're like, we're gonna prosecute you. And I'm like, I'm too dark for you, so many hexes. How will I choose? My witchcraft brings all the mobs to the woods, and they're like, we're gonna prosecute you. And I'm like, I'm too dark for you, so many hexes. How will I choose? Social instability and famine caused by religious warfare, further spurred by prevailing misogyny. Notions that run these mobs, they want me dead, they'll soon regret. La 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 la. They blame me. La 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 la. For infanticide. La 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 la. They distrust me. La 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 la. Stupid misogyny. My witchcraft brings all the mobs to the woods, and they're like, we're gonna prosecute you. And I'm like, I'm too dark for you, so many hexes. How will I choose? My witchcraft brings all the mobs to the woods, and they're like, we're gonna prosecute you. And I'm like, I'm too dark for you, so many hexes. How will I choose? Oh, after many years, the Enlightenment came, so rationalism and empiricism took away their superstitions. No more mobs and prosecutions. Witch hunts have come to end. Those pastors were intense. La 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 la. I feel more at peace. La 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 la. Stupid misogyny. La 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 la. Thank you, enlightenment. La 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 la. Mobs can be so mean. Now when the mobs come to the woods, they're like, we know it's not true. And I'm like, that's pretty late of you. So many people prosecuted by you. Now the noose is empty, the stake untied. The terror and superstition have died. But sometimes when I walk in the daytime, I glance up and see a moon in the sky.